All right, let's talk about the executive officers. Specifically, let's first talk about the statutory officers. Some corporate law statutes require a corporation to have these three executive officers: a president, a secretary, or a treasurer. Now, often the corporate law statute will say you have to have these executive officers or executive officers who do the same job, who serve the same purpose. So what is the president? Well, the president is just a principal executive officer. You might call it the general manager. You might call her the chief executive officer. But that is what the president is. We have a secretary. What is the secretary? Well, this is the corporate secretary. Corporate secretary is responsible for corporate record keeping. So for example, when you transfer your shares to a buyer, when you transfer your shares to someone, you will take that share certificate, you will sign it, endorse it on the back, you will deliver it to the person, you'll deliver it to the purchaser, and the purchaser will then take that to the corporate secretary. The corporate secretary will now take care of the record keeping. We'll change the record shareholder in the corporate books and records, and we'll issue a new certificate to the new shareholder. The general counsel, right, the in-house counsel, the in-house lawyer, the chief in-house lawyer for the corporation will often be the corporate secretary. And then you have the treasurer, and the treasurer is responsible for the financial matters of the corporation. Often the chief financial officer is the treasurer of the corporation. Now, what are the officers in practice? What do you see really in practice? Well, you see a variety of things, but we're looking at a CEO. Now, you might say CEO, chief executive officer, you might say president. You can do whatever you want. Naturally, there's a plethora of different types of vice presidents. You have a chief operating officer, and if you have a chief operating officer, usually that means that the president is more of an ideas person, more of a supervisor, rather than actually getting her hands dirty and rolling up her sleeves and taking care of things. That would be the job of the chief operating officer. The chief financial officer clearly deals with the financial matters of the corporation, helping the corporation raise capital, helping the corporation manage its day-to-day cash flow, making sure it has enough cash, monitoring the bank accounts, that sort of thing. You might have a comptroller, which is really just the chief accounting officer, and you might have a comptroller instead of a CFO, or the CFO might also be the comptroller. And then you have your general counsel, which is the chief in-house lawyer. Not all corporations have a general counsel, but most, if not all, public corporations have a general counsel. Let's talk about officers' authority. Do these officers, or any employee in the corporation, have the authority to bind the corporation in contract? And the answer is, well, that really depends on whether the employee or executive officer in question had express authority, implied authority, or apparent authority. Now, when doing a big deal, some sort of major transaction, someone's going to have to sign the document on behalf of the corporation. If you're the other party to that deal, you want to make sure that the person signing on behalf of the corporation actually has authority. So what you want to do is you want to see the board resolution that gives this executive officer the authority to sign this big agreement on behalf of the corporation. But there's a problem with that. Imagine you get this board resolution. How do you know that that's the real board resolution? So then what you ask for is some sort of certificate from the secretary of the corporation. And the secretary of the corporation will say, here is the board resolution that authorizes the executive officer to sign this document on behalf of the corporation. And it is the true and accurate board resolution. That's what we call a secretary certificate. Now, think about what the secretary certificate does. A lot of students say that the secretary certificate and the board resolution is express authority from the board. Well, the board resolution is express authority from the board, but the copy of the board resolution, the printed out board resolution, is not express authority. It could be a fake. And so what the Secretary's certificate does, it sets up a very good argument for the other party of apparent authority, right? So if it turns out that that executive officer did not have authority to sign the contract on behalf of the corporation, the other party will say, but the corporation should still be bound because I was reasonable in believing that the executive officer had the authority. Why? Look, I have a Secretary's certificate signed by the Secretary with the board resolution. And because I received that, I was reasonable in believing that this executive officer had the authority to sign this document.